ever watched Dragon's Den? I'm sure some of you have, but there's going to be a few of you that haven't. I don't know if they have it in the States or not. It's a bit like The Apprentice, but you don't have to be as much of a knob to sort of get on in it. It's the Lingard situations reminded me of Dragon's Den, which is why I'm going to speak about it, so please bear with me on that. For those of you who don't know, it's for people with ideas or products or businesses, and what they have to do is they have to go into a studio, because it's a television programme, and they have to pitch their ideas or their products to 4 or 5 entrepreneurs known as the Dragons. Now, some of the entrepreneurs are more successful than others, some are better known because they've been doing the programme. Programme's on the BBC, it might have gone 15 years or something like that. I don't know. Some are better than others. Anyway, if you watch a Dragon's Den, sometimes there'll be someone that comes in, and one of them, I watched one of them the other day, I don't know if it was a rerun or whatever, but he had this product. It was a fryer, an air fryer, or something. It fried your food without using any oil. Magic, right? Absolute magic. So anyway, so the guy pitches his product, and Deborah Meaden, if you know her, she turns around and she says, do you know what? I'm going to make you an offer. I'm going to give you all of the money for whatever, 15% of your company, and I will help you develop this and we'll get this product to market. Now, rather than saying at that point, oh, goody gumdrops, Deborah, thank you very much, I'd be delighted to be your business partner, he said, Deborah, I'll just wait and see what everyone else has got to say. And he basically went down the line and asked him what everybody else could do for him. Now, all the while this is happening, Deborah Meaden sat there. She's getting right miffed off. She's not happy. She's thinking, hold on, is my money not good enough for you? Surely I can provide some sort of help for you. She's getting annoyed. What he really wants, if you watch the programme, he wants this guy called Peter Jones, right, who's the main one, the big entrepreneur, but very, very successful. He wants Peter Jones. And the longer it goes on, it becomes evident he doesn't want Deborah Meaden's money. He wants Peter Jones's money. Reason being is he just thinks Peter Jones can further his career better. He thinks Peter Jones has got better contacts. In the end, Deborah Meaden just turns around and she says, do you know what? Forget it. Don't worry about it. Forget it. I withdraw my offer. You see the analogy, don't you? Because this is obviously what's happening with Jesse Lingard. And I know the last 2 days I've done videos about Jesse Lingard, but let's be fair, I went almost a month without doing any. But the story keeps moving on, and what was really interesting was that at the same time about 3 stories broke, at the same time I got some information about Jesse Lingard, and all the stories sort of, they seem to confirm one another, and it is that actually he's not too keen on coming to West Ham. Basically, West Ham are seen as the last resort. We're Deborah Meaden. We're the ugly bloke at the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning when it's kicking out time, just hoping that the nice looking woman doesn't pull anyone good looking. And if not, we might get lucky. We might. That's us. That's West Ham. Says a lot, doesn't it? I'd use that as an analogy. This is just where we are. We're the last choice. Now, I'm not, whether or not this is any good for Jesse Lingard is totally up to Jesse Lingard. Apparently his dad is running things for him. His dad's a massive Man United fan. Jesse Lingard wants to stay at Man United. If Man United decide to schmooze him, then he'll stay. He'll stay at Manchester United. If not, he'll start to look at other options. But even then, we're not at the front of the queue. I'm pretty sure he enjoyed his time at West Ham, but he enjoyed his time at West Ham because he did well. I'm pretty sure if he'd have come here and scored no goals, got no assists, he'd have not particularly enjoyed his time at West Ham. It was a very, very good loan move for him. It was a good loan move for West Ham, but I'm not sure it's going to progress to anything more. When I say for Solskjaer to schmooze him, it's for Solskjaer to say, you'll get more game time than you did under me before. Because that's really what he's got to say. It's not a case of, I really rate you, Jesse. It's him saying, actually, I guess he's got to go and be a little bit apologetic, Solskjaer, and almost say, I'm sorry, I should have had more faith in you before. You've now shown me by what you've done at West Ham that you can be more of an impact in the Premier League. I'm going to get you involved more, because, quite frankly, it appeared that Solskjaer didn't fancy him very much. So if Solskjaer schmoozes him, then I guess Jesse stays and he signs a new contract, and then it's all over. Aside from that, there are other shooters in town, put it that way, other than West Ham. And do you know what? A bit like Deborah Meaden in the Dragon's Den, I'm sort of thinking, do you know what? I don't want to be last choice. I don't want to be anymore. Because the person we're linked with, and we'll talk about him in a second, is Pereira. And Pereira is the, let's say the first choice if we don't get Lingard. I think Pereira would be chomping at the bit to come to West Ham. Pereira would be thinking, hold on, I've just been relegated. I'm in a relegated team at the moment. I'm in a championship. West Ham are a top 6 team. West Ham are in the Kapos Europos. I'll go to West Ham. Yes, please. He'll be delighted. He'll rock up with a grin like a Cheshire cat. Jesse Lingard thinking, Man United didn't want me, and Atletico didn't want me, and all the rest of it, and that Liverpool didn't, and there was a bit of a... We joke about Arsenal didn't finish as high as West Ham, but Arsenal was still a prestigious club. The rumour was that Arsenal were interested as well. And let's be fair, if they're going to sign William for 300 grand a week, then they're capable of signing Jesse Lingard, aren't they? There's an attitude. I don't want him coming here and being disappointed, acting like he's doing us a favour. As George Graham once said, never sign a player who thinks he's doing you a favour. And I just said it as well. The other thing is, I do wonder from Jesse's perspective, it is quite possible, and I mean quite possible here, that the highlight of Jesse Lingard's career, the purple patch, has just happened. That's entirely possible. It's possible that he stays at Man United and Man United get to a final and he comes on the final, scores a winning goal. That's possible. But it's also more likely if Man United get to a final, he ain't being picked. It's Fernandes that gets picked, and Sancho and Rashford, Mason Greenwood, Pogba, and all these other fantastic players. That's also likely. If Man United win the league, of course, Jesse Lingard's there. He'll play his part. He'll start some games. He'll come on a sub. He'll get a league winners medal. He gets to stay in Manchester. He loves Manchester. Fine. But I do suspect when Jesse Lingard's career is over and he looks back and they say, not what part of your career did you enjoy the most, but almost what was the best part of your career. I wouldn't be surprised if you look back and think, that little loan spell with West Ham, I was on fire. I was on fire. For that period, I was one of the best players around. And I think that's worth something. I don't know. Look, Jesse Lingard's a professional footballer. He's won a lot of confidence. He'll be confident enough that he can go and replicate that form and better that form. But I mean, everything was going in for him, wasn't it? Let's be fair. Everything he touched turned to gold at that particular point. And I think we allowed him. We put faith in him. We allowed him to get a rhythm, which maybe he's not going to get at Man United because it's going to be very much stop-start. Even if he plays out of his skin, there's not going to be a situation where Solskjaer turns around to Fernandes and says, Bruno, good player and all that, mate, but Jesse's got the shirt now. You're gonna have to sit on the bench. It ain't gonna happen. You know that's not gonna happen. I know that's not gonna happen. Jesse knows that's not gonna happen, and rightly so. Look, Fernandes, absolutely fantastic player, one of the best players in the league. Jesse Lingard was one of the best players at the league at West Ham, by the way, for that little purple patch, that little period. It just, I'm not sure if he goes. This is the thing. I think if Jesse Lingard goes back to Manchester United, he will no longer be one of the best players in the league. Not because of ability, but he just won't have the regular chance to showcase his talents. So this sounds like a pitch, doesn't it? I'm trying to persuade him to join, in that sense, by saying, stay at Man United, you'd be crap. I'm not, and I don't think he'd be crap, and I think there's a lot for him there. And my point really is, if that's where he wants to stay, if he's a Manchester lad, and he is, if his heart is set on Man United, and if he feels that actually a bit part role, because he had a no part role, let's get this right, he didn't have a bit part role before he joined us. At Man United, before he came to West Ham, he wasn't really used. If he thinks that a bit part role where he is the main sub and starts some games and he just is used more frequently than he was before by Solskjaer, if he thinks that bit part role is actually better than being the big fish in a small pond or the superstar at West Ham, then fair enough, who are we to argue? Why shouldn't he feel that? He might, a squad player at Man United, who's to say that is a lesser job than being the top man at West Ham. I don't know. It's up to him. But I do think sometimes there's no smoke without fire. Maybe something's going to come left of field. Maybe there's so much smoke and mirrors. Maybe they've trying to keep the deal so far under wraps that it just happens. And in 2 or 3 days, it's announced that Jesse Lingard's a West Ham player. Maybe. I think not, though. If it doesn't feel like that's going to happen, I don't know what you think about it, but we are down to trying to feel it out, really, aren't we? Because there's not an awful lot of news. But there was on today, which is when I record this, which is Monday evening, there was news that came out. There was from several different people, and certainly somebody that somebody I've interviewed before, or I've spoken to before as well, and you know, they gave me a little steer on it, and I do find it very, very interesting. With Pereira, I just need to get it done. Just get it done. If what we had was 25 million for Jesse Lingard, I was going to get Pereira of it. I didn't believe it the other day when was it a Saudi club, I believe, who rumoured to have made a 7 million, or was it £7 or £9 million bid? Can't quite remember. For Pereira, I said at the time it's not enough. He's worth far more than that, and he really is. I think he's a brilliant player. What did he score? I think it was 11 goals or something in 31. I'm plucking out of the air, but I think I've read it very, very recently. In 31 games in the Premier League, something like that. I might be wrong. Maybe it was 11 assists, but whatever. He was brilliant. It was brilliant against us in both games, by the way. I mean, just his corners on their own would be absolutely deadly. Just spend the Lingard money on him. Just go and get it. You know he can play in the Premier League. He's played a season in the Championship as well and was pretty much the best player there. If you remember, I was talking about him when everyone was talking about Garner doing well at West Brom, and when he was on loan and then him came back to us. I was very much saying we need to get this. Look back in the old videos, I said we need to get this Pereira guy. I mean, I thought he was fantastic. I didn't play Fantasy Football League for very long. I never do each season, and we will start up the Hammer Chat League again. I just never seem to have time to change the team every week. But if you look back on last season, he was in my team at was the first player down on my team sheet last season. Pereira, I think he's fantastic, prodigiously gifted, and you know what? There's a massive incentive for West Ham to go and get a player that wants to be with us rather than one that doesn't. And just going back to that Dragon's Den analogy, if you like, there used to be a guy on there called Duncan Bannatyne. He's not been on for a while. He probably hasn't been on for 10 years, but he used to be really he's a gruff Scottish guy, and he used to say, "I'm out, I'm out." Quite gruff and Scottish like that. "I'm out." I've probably gone more Scottish than Duncan Bannatyne is. He was probably more soft than Edinburgh. I can't remember, but I seem to remember him saying, "If you didn't like the deal, I'm out." And I just think it's probably time that we now wash our hands of it and say, "I'm out," but we can say it in our own accents. Or actually, David Moyes could probably do it like, "I'm out." Everyone can say it in that accent. Or end of. We can say end of, because I think we're going to get to the point now where it's sort of going to start to hinder our transfer window if it drags on for much longer. If not, then it doesn't even need to be done publicly. It's really just for Lingard to turn around and say, "Look, I've seen all the rumours that are going out there, and I actually do really want to join you guys. I want to come back." Lingard has to make it clear. You know, he might play. He's done it before. He does all that on the Instagram page and this, that, and the other. There is an opportunity now for him to tell Solskjaer, "Actually, I'm not going to sign a deal. I want to go back to West Ham." To do an Instagram post and then turn around to David Moyes, David Sullivan, whoever he's dealing with, Jose Moyes or whoever he might be dealing with in this transfer, and just say, "Actually, I want to come to West Ham. I'm with you guys. Forget these transfer rumours. I'm coming down. I'm committed. I really appreciated what you're doing for me." If he's not going to do that, then really we have to say, "I'm out."